Welcome to Beyond Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Petrellis, and we are super excited for today's episode. Someone who I've had the pleasure of kind of really following on social media, chatting with, DMing for a while now, and just very complimentary towards each other and helpful. Super guy. So I'm super excited about him being on here today. And before we jump into him, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to the Ford Tavern. We had our third annual Cornhole for Communication Cornhole tournament. Our 16 teams. It was a loaded tournament this year. We had some real good teams coming from all over the place. But it was an amazing event. They had us, the outside patio, the food service, the drink service, just even participating in the event, having a team playing in it with us. It was just a really fun time to have like a new home for this event and to see it grow more and more. And we're excited. One of our championship teams, they work at an elementary school and they are very interested in a communication board. So we're excited to be able to hopefully help that school out and get one in there for them. So an overall great event. We just wanted to shout them out because, man, I'm still loving it. Still wish I could go back and go to it again because it was a real fun time. But so thank you, Fort Tavern, for welcoming us at Beyond, and again teaming up with the Doug Flutie Foundation. Was a lot of fun. So but back to our guest. Sorry to put you to sleep a little bit there, but to me, one of the best trainers in Massachusetts around boxing trainers is growing quickly. If you follow them on social media, I feel like in a blink of an eye, their following shot up. So we'll definitely be talking about that today, but really training some championship fighters, and people that are going to be battle tested or be battle tested over the next month or so, or even the next few days or so. So we're really excited to have him on today. Like I said, I think one of the top boxing trainers around. So without further ado, Danny Oliver.
My brother.
What's going on, man?
What's cracking, Doug?
Yeah.
I want a piece of that cornhole champion before we even get into my stuff.
I mean, I gotta tell you, the team that won yesterday, they lost like early. It's a 2-game elimination, so they might have lost like their second or third game, but then they just like mowed teams down. And then the team that they beat in the finals, they had to beat them twice, and they beat them twice. Like it was.
How old are these kids?
They were and they're like I would say like they were in their 30s, so a couple
Okay.
that
I was gonna say, even if they're 12 and they beat me, I have no problem hitting a 12-year-old. No problem. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but no, this is good to know. Next year's tournament, I'll have to go back to the tape on this and remind you of this now,
I'll have a broken hand that week.
I get it. You might have an event that day.
Yeah, with all these fighters. I don't know, bro. They just keep coming at me.
I know. So let's talk about it a little bit. I mean, I know you got a lot of stuff coming up, but I have a big fan base that's excited about this boxing episode. I love being able to have, boxers, and I've had some MMA fighters on too. So it's excited to kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about what I think is a sport that is just putting your body through just I can't even imagine. You think about it and then some, right? But for you obviously, and I know we're not going to talk a lot about this, but you're a great boxer yourself. But for you, when did you say to yourself, man, boxing's been in my blood for X amount of years, I think I have the ability now to kind of open up a gym and begin to train fighters and train them to fight at these big fights or these next levels and to move up in their divisions?
So my grandfather was a pro fighter.
Okay.
And my father was a pro fighter. My cousin Michael, his resume is a laundry list. He was the captain of the U.S. Olympic team for Taekwondo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. He actually trained Joe Rogan.
No kidding.
Yeah. And then Joe trained me for like 7 years. So yeah,
when I was on the podcast to talk about it. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, he's brought me up. He's brought me up once. He didn't say me by name, so I kind of got a little upset about that one. But he's brought me up. Yeah. He said a tough little kid from Medford.
Yeah.
I said, you couldn't draw my name, bro.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you have that? Is that like on record? Have you heard that?
Oh, dude, I played for everybody when I was.
Oh my God, I gotta hear this.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
But he knows his stuff, that's for sure.
I mean, he's so brilliant, right? I mean, I just sometimes listen to the depths of conversation that he can have with people. It is just like remarkable that he is just so knowledgeable.
Very intelligent.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I went to Taekwondo to get my footwork better for boxing. A lot of boxers do you've heard of people ballet and all different types of dance. I couldn't find myself in a tutu, bro. I just couldn't do the tutu.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're wearing all Gucci right now, so I imagine you only look great when
Well,
you're
it's only because I knew I was going to go on with you. I had to
yeah.
look sharp for you, homie.
And you have the most sophisticated iPad maybe on the planet. Your iPad actually the camera moves to like where you are. Like you walked off screen before this started, and then it just like moved back to center stage. And the second you started walking towards your iPad, like the camera immediately just like locks in on you and goes up. Like it's
Probably
I
because it's
mean, I've never
tapped.
seen anything like it. Like the Apple 37 that you have or
Yeah,
something right now.
futuristic. Nowadays, all the conspiracies, the aliens probably are in this thing.
I mean, yeah, they maybe just messed your iPad up and gave you the wrong technology. Like it's the other Apple
On
iPad.
purpose.
Yeah. So no, but honestly, jumping back to you just a little bit, obviously, like I know for coaching, for example, like when you take over a program and you think you can compete and you change your schedule a little bit, and you're like, all right, let's play with some of the big teams here and see what we got.
Yeah,
I mean, for you, you're obviously opening up this facility, and your family's the Mona Lisa Vita of boxing. Like you got it's in your family, it's in your blood. Yeah, it's my cousin Vinny reference. I don't know if you got that one, but
I got you. I'm with you. I'm so focused right now, bro. I'm focused on what you're
I
saying.
love it. I love it. So, but I mean that very complimentary. I mean, it's in your blood. So, like for you, like what is it that maybe because there's a lot of different coaching styles out there. So for you, like
Sure.
what is it about your style and your facility that maybe is just different or just what people would expect to go in there and be trained like someone like you or people on your team?
Sure. There's different gyms out there that you kind of know are known for certain styles. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not entirely, but like for the most part. Like hypothetically, you go to a Mickey Wood, they're teaching that liver shot. Just hypothetically. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or there's tournaments we go to and we know we're fighting certain gyms, and you're like, oh, we're in for a long night. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? As far as my style, I try to really get everybody involved. The coaching aspect, I work on a lot of footwork. I
Mhm.
think footwork can get you in and out of trouble. For example, you could have the best right hand in Massachusetts. If you don't have that footwork to deliver that rocket, what's the point of having it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And we just had a kid actually this weekend that phenomenal footwork. His name's Rob DeBonis. He just won the New England title Saturday. His footwork is phenomenal.
Is that your fighter? Is that your fighter
Yes.
that you were talking
Yeah,
about?
that's my
That
that's
was
my
we
that's
were
my
talking
thorough
about before. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
that's my thoroughbred.
Yeah.
Yeah, we good kid, Linfield kid, local kid.
So what did he
But
win? What weight class is he?
he was 176 open class title, which is the most prestigious title you can have in New England as
Wow.
an amateur.
How'd he
Yeah.
win?
He unanimous decision.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Two of
Okay.
my boys hosted it. It was at Melrose Memorial Hall.
Okay.
So it's a real old school venue.
Yeah.
They do a
Yeah.
killer job. It's
Great.
but get back to what your original question was.
Yeah.
Different gyms, like I said, have different styles. And you go into different, you look right on the bout sheet. Everybody does it, whether they say it or not. You look on that bout sheet, who we fighting. Oh, we're fighting this gym. Like I said, we're in for a headache tonight.
Yeah.
Like my buddies, they're two of my best friends. They helped me out so much in this sport. I'm going to touch on them. When I first opened this gym, just like anything else in life, people are going to hate on you a little bit. Anything new, people are afraid of anything new.
Yeah. Change is different. Yeah.
And I get it, to a point, I'm the same thing. If it's new, let me test this out. Let me see if I like it. These two guys, the Nolan brothers, they're out in Waltham.
Mhm.
They took me right in. You know what I mean? Really helped me out on every aspect of boxing. And just phenomenal guys, phenomenal trainers. I hate fighting their people
Yeah.
because they're great coaches. They know they have they have the same atmosphere as us, like that family community atmosphere. So when you go, there's going to be a million of them and a million of us.
Yeah.
So, that crowd factors in, just like every other sport.
Now, when you go against other fighters and you see who their trainers are, like I know coaching wise, when I see a certain coach, I'm like, all right, this is what we're gonna get. Is that
Yes,
kind of like for you, like training, being like, all right, I know his fighters, if nothing else, they're going to be X, Y, and Z. So we got to
correct.
for that.
Yeah, well conditioned. They're going to have a great jab. They're going to go to the body a lot. They're going to bull rush in. They're
Yeah.
going to be slick. You know what I mean? There's, for the most part, you can't really, but for the most part, yeah. That's the way I
Is
look at
there
it.
a trainer out there that right now that like when you go against his fighter, you're always like, ugh, we're in for like, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of them, but like, is there one that like really stands out a little bit?
I mean, just my boys, the Nolan brothers, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we've only fought them twice, but
Yeah.
I know they have that community atmosphere. They know their shit.
Yeah.
They're two brothers, so you're getting a two-headed monster.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Two minds that think similar. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
exactly.
things they pick up.
Exactly. But they're the best, you know?
Yeah. Now for you, like obviously you have a mentality and you have a way that you want to train or a way that you run your facility. Like I like head coaches, like you surround yourself with assistant coaches that kind of buy into the program or buy
Yeah,
into it. So for you, like how do you then build a consistent staff behind that? Because obviously you have a vision and you have a
of
mission.
course.
So you have a
So
style, so it has to like fit, right? I mean, that's
kind of to go with like what you were just saying. I mean,
yeah.
everybody that works here. So I have two of my cousins working here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And they were elite basketball players.
Yeah.
So, for example, I believe in, I don't know if I'm assuming you do know this, but like in the Belichick method, where like I know they're better at me at certain things.
Yeah.
So I have them focus on that.
Yeah.
Then I have a D1 football player here. I have him work on the strength.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Agility, strength, my
Gotcha.
conditioning, and then I'll work on the technique.
Okay.
So, I mean,
So for you, like, I'm just assuming here, are you just looking for athletes? Like when you necessarily like in certain areas, like if I'm
you
making
know
sense
what's,
of that.
it's funny you brought that up because I just had this conversation, say a week ago, right?
Yeah.
If you really look at boxers, they're not athletic humans. I mean, obviously, you have your Roy Jones, your
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao's, your Floyd Mayweather's who play basketball as
But
well.
rare, but rare.
Exactly. Like, can you
Yeah.
picture Mike Tyson playing basketball?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Can you picture? I'm trying to think of a mainstream guy that you would know, Canelo Alvarez playing baseball.
No, I mean,
You know what I mean? So, for the most part, what I look for is heart.
yeah.
How much? I'll clean this up for you. How much heart do you have?
Yeah.
When you get popped in the face, right?
Yeah.
Are you coming back? Sometimes I'll keep somebody in that ring. They come over to me, they gap.
Yeah.
No, you're going another one. Now, if they say I can't do it no more,
Yeah.
see you later. I have a little girl, Katie, who was actually supposed to fight in this New England tournament. And about, I'll say a month ago, when she was getting ready, she came over to me. She's the little girl on my Instagram,
Okay. Yeah.
the
Who's
blonde,
yeah, I mean pop.
straight monster,
Yeah. Yeah.
straight monster. But
Yeah.
she comes over to me. I think I had her go 5 hard rounds. Now, you don't think, when you think 2 minutes, everybody thinks, it's 2 minutes. Get in there and show me just 2 minutes.
Right.
It's like a 2 minute sprint, right?
Yeah.
So she looks at me. Another gym was over here, and the other gym coach said, we're going to send her out. Go ahead, Danny, we're sending her out. And I looked at Katie. I said, Katie, come on. She goes, I don't know if I have another one in me. She looked me dead in the eye. She goes, I got you. She went right out, up, right again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where I tested. If she looked at me and I love her like a little sister, and she looked at me and she said, Deanie, I just can't. I'm sorry. Not as a person, but as a fighter, I would have looked at her differently.
Yeah.
However, she said, I got you. And it made me look at her. She gained more of my respect, if that was even possible that night.
Right.
And she's so helpful.
And that's it. I mean, so I mean, I'll probably ask you this a couple different ways because maybe I won't ask you the right way the first time.
I'm used to attorneys. Let's go.
So for you, I mean, so you obviously train a lot of fighters, but when do you know that you have a fighter that just kind of has it? Like that's just
Special.
maybe a little different, or like, okay, this person, not necessarily with more training, but just this person, you might look at them from a whole standpoint, from marketing to boxing to, I mean, does that exist, or what just makes people different, I guess, in general?
I think this goes back to what we were just saying. I guess heart and athleticism. I mean, obviously somebody has heart, that makes a fighter, right?
Yeah.
But if you add that sick athleticism to that, I mean, look at Roy Jones. I mean, that just is another level. And people say, no, he wasn't a good boxer. He was just athletic.
Yeah.
That's like saying Shaquille O'Neal wasn't a good basketball player. He was just big.
Right.
No, but he's big. You can't
Yeah.
take that away from him.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
there's a young kid that comes in here, Chase Lepori, right? And I've had him since he was 12. He came in the minute I held mitts for him, right?
Yeah.
I called his father right away. I said, hey, keep him down here. He's special.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if he thought I was being a little bit biased because I love the family, right?
Right.
So about 2 months ago, I take him over to my boys, the Nolan brothers.
Yeah.
And they came over to me and they go, he's 15? What? Wait, what? 14? What? I said, yeah. No, he's not. Yeah, he is. I said, can you do me a favor? Tell his father what you just told me so it doesn't look like I'm biased.
Yeah.
He just has it. Like,
Yeah.
I can't explain it. The kid Rob has it. Like, he comes in and he listens, coachable. You know what I mean? They're athletic humans. And it's just something that, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, some boxers don't have.
Yeah.
It's genetically, you're born with athleticism or you're not. You can't teach athleticism. You can't teach art.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned something about speed earlier and footwork, right?
Yep.
I mean, what is it that you would work with boxers specifically? I mean, footwork is obviously really important in a lot of
Sure.
sports. There's a lot of different ways to work it. I mean, in boxing, how do you work like faster feet?
Faster feet. I mean, there's ladder drills.
So
I have a
similar to what you maybe would do like in a lot of other sports, like
I'm gonna
or is it more
I'm gonna give you
advanced?
the basic ladder drills because I
Okay.
can't give you that special sauce on the air.
I listen, I
I
get
can't
it.
give you that special sauce, bro.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's really fair. I ask questions because sometimes you get like really genuine into it. I'm like, wait,
I
well,
will
how do you
tell you
train
this. I
this?
will
Yeah,
tell you this. My little brother is a
yeah.
Harvard doctor,
Okay.
right? And he works with the San Francisco 49ers as a strength and conditioning specialist. So a lot of stuff we get is from him.
Yeah.
Now, he goes on to another planet, right? Because he believes in which is true. I believe in this too. I don't think it's a conspiracy, but the brain and the body working as one. So, like, for example, he just told me about a study that just came out where the UFC fighters only wear 3 ounce gloves, I believe, right? Where a boxer would wear 10. And they asked the UFC guy, what if you put on boxing gloves? He goes, I'd crush somebody.
Yeah.
And they said to him, but you have 3 ounce gloves on. And my brother explained to me, he said, no, because the human brain wants to protect the body automatically.
Yeah.
So the brain knows to pull back a little bit because in fear of those knuckles getting hurt.
Wow.
I know that's a little too much,
I
but
mean, no, I'm like really intrigued. I'm like, wait, so that mean because it makes sense that I mean, your brain is connected to your body. I mean,
yeah.
there's a reason why people can still live without their brains, right? I mean, it's an aspect of their body that just shuts down, but they can live not obviously with help, but like they can live without their brain. Like, so yeah, if it's connect, I mean, yeah, I'm interested in that stuff.
He
To
gave me all
me,
these different things that I definitely test on my fighters. We have a kid, Gino Castucci, that comes in. He works for the fighters. He's phenomenal. He's been on my hip this whole time. Great guy. You know, so we really focus on everything,
yeah.
you know, as far as that strength and conditioning.
Because I also look at like when you mentioned footwork before, like I know different fighting, but like I think of like Sugar Sean O'Malley, like how his last fight knocking that dude out, where it felt like going backwards and still being able to plant his foot and really
So he
get
actually,
the
did you
hit
see
there.
the viral Instagram he had where people were trying to mimic that shot?
Yeah, no, I didn't. No.
Oh, it's hysterical. He makes fun
Yeah.
of people, everybody trying to mimic his shot, but that's a lot of balance.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have my fighters doing like a lot of salsa dancing because it's a lot of weight shifting.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and if you think about it, salsa dancing is all you're doing is shifting your weight. And if you can learn how to, you know, when you're in this position, throw that shot,
Yeah.
then, you know, that's all weight shifting and balance.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it's so interesting. I mean, obviously, we'll talk off air because I'm so curious of what you have your fighters do. But like, in my head, I thought that I was like, he probably has them do something that's like really different than maybe other fighters will. I mean, other
I
trainers
do.
have them do. Yeah. So I'm curious. I am curious. Um, But we also, you mentioned like when Rogan talked about being from Medford. I mean, we have Medford connection. I'm from Medford as well. So when I heard
No
that,
doubt.
obviously showing you some love on here, we have a connection with the Riordan family. I feel like
Oh
I've
boy.
been seeing them a ton lately.
Oh boy.
In Wilmington, I see them a lot all the time. The whole
Yeah,
family.
yeah. He's
Yeah,
my best friend,
yeah,
Scotty.
yeah,
Scotty's my best friend. I love his, I used to go to his parents' house, right?
yeah.
He was living in Medford up the street. I'd go to his parents' house and just hang out with his parents because I like them more than him.
No, his dad was, I mean, his dad was funny. His dad, I think when I was like younger, I want to say I maybe like 10 or 11, his dad one time in the locker room, like everybody was like leaving the locker room to go on the ice, and he picked me up and hung me up by my pants on the hook and just like left me in there. So like warm-ups went by and like,
Sounds
and
like
then
a
he
typical
finally
town.
came and like,
That's a
you
townie
know,
move.
my parents loved it. You know, they thought it was funny, but yeah, no, every time I see him,
He was a
we
sick
talk
hockey
about it.
player.
Yeah, he was. I mean, played at
Scotty
BC or
was
something,
too.
right? Yeah. Played with the Hanson brothers. He played with the Hanson brothers, I think.
Yeah, he looks like a
Yeah.
handsome brother.
He was the fourth one. But no, but yeah, I mean, it was funny when we made that connection. I was like, oh wow, I mean, I played hockey growing up with that family my whole life. So
Yeah, that's my best friend.
yeah, that's so funny. Your camera just went back out and then went back in.
You know
Like,
why? Because I'm leaning in and leaning back. I'm doing
oh
that.
yeah, you got something there, dude. Your technology is
It's
unreal.
tapped. It's definitely tapped.
um so you know, obviously, I mean, I always joke back then, and I will say this about myself as a fighter or a boxer, if you call it, if they had camera phones when we were kids in helmet
Ooh.
boxing that happened after hockey practice, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I was known to kids
You'd
to
have
say
that
to me,
strap. You'd have the
win or
strap.
lose, they had a headache after helmet boxing me. That was kind of my MO. Like,
I
I'm not
love
saying
it.
I won all the time, but you had a headache. You knew what you dealt with.
They left the
So
store with a receipt.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was small, right? So for me, I think the advantage was like dudes kind of have to throw down at me where I just can get on there and kind of I
Very
perfected the
sharp.
uppercut.
Because
I
your legs are
perfect.
coming. All your power comes from your legs
Yeah. That's
and
why I
speed.
think people were just like, holy smokes, because I think I get him on the first one. And
We got to
then,
get you in here. I need you to slap around a couple people in here. Get them in line.
I mean, if there's helmets, I'm in. Like, listen, I'll come in and I'll give you a solid round right now. I'm probably in good enough shape to give you a round.
Probably more than I could give somebody right now, so don't worry about it.
But we're also really excited because even when we started covering you, and I know I want to show a little love here, and I know that you do too. We first connected as we had one of your former fighters on here, Shayna,
Yeah.
and she was unbelievable. We loved her as a guest. She was a
Oh,
great
yeah.
time, and you know, when I seen her on your Instagram, like I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
I'm watching the potential next heavyweight champion of the world here. Like, no
Absolutely.
joke.
Lightweight,
But
lightweight,
I know
lightweight.
you have so much love for her, so I just wanted to kind of throw it your way a little bit too. But yeah, we love her, man. We love her.
Yeah. Shayna has some personal stuff going on right now.
Yeah,
So, she had to step up for her family.
yeah,
Nothing but love for Shayna. We do miss her here. She was a big piece over here, a huge piece. But we do got nothing but love for her. We all hope she's doing well. She's taking care of herself. She taking care of her family and her own personal issues right now. But definitely nothing but love for Shayna. Big piece of the pie here. And definitely could have, you know, lightweight, lightweight. You said heavyweight. I'm going to tell her you said that.
I don't know. I don't know terminology. I gotta get
It's
out
on
of jail
camera,
free card
motherfucker.
there.
It's on camera. But no, yeah, nothing but love. I hope she's doing well. And hopefully she gets back in here.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I would love to see her back in there
Yeah,
training.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'll throw this clip at her. I'm gonna have to send this to her.
Yeah,
Show her that we're showing her love. So, but you have some awesome events coming up. I mean,
we do.
there's so much I want to talk to you about, but these two events are awesome. I know one of them we're going to be a much bigger part of beyond podcast, and we could talk about that. But I know you have one coming up very soon. I think
Thursday, the 12th.
12th, right? So go ahead, man. I'm going to give you the floor to talk about it.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's the Haymakers for Hope. It she gives all the money. The lady that runs it's Julie Kelly, former fighter, beast, absolute gorilla. But if you meet her, hi, how are you? Meet. It's like, who is this nerd?
Yeah.
But straight killer. And one of the nicest humans, most loyal, honest people you'll ever meet. She runs it. And she does a phenomenal job, bro. Like, just like when I first went there, right? And I fought a lot. I looked around and I said, this is insane. Like, the event that they put on there is just, I feel like I'm in Madison Square Garden, man. Like, they do a phenomenal job. All the money goes to cancer research,
okay.
You know, and I love the whole organization, everybody involved in it. It's just phenomenal. We're lucky enough to have a fighter go in there. We've had 3 different times that we've been lucky enough and blessed enough to have Julie invite us to fight at her event. So we have 3 fighters going Thursday the 12th at MGM Music Hall right in Fenway, bro.
That's unbelievable. When you sent that to me, I was like, "Oh wow, what a cool venue to
It's
have."
just insane.
Yeah, that's a real.
I mean, the whole event is just unbelievable, and the cause is really what makes it. Obviously, the cherry on the top. You know what I mean? If not the whole Sunday.
Now, a charity fights like this, when they're doing matchups, I mean, are these like still like you matching up for like a regular or
So
charity a little different?
Well, the way they run it, it's actually very sharp. It's USA Boxing sanctioned, so like these are official fights. They're not. It's not like a Jose Canseco fight. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
They're actually real. It goes on their record. What they do is they set up sparring for your potential opponent before you actually go into the match to make sure nobody's overwhelmed or more experienced or anything like that. And then, you know, if they like the matchups, we go. If any of the coaches don't like the matchups, they let Julie know and she adjusts.
Yeah. Is that common, like sparring like that, like defined, or is that just for things like that?
It's just for I've only been involved with it with the 2 charities. You know what I mean? As far as sparring your opponent before.
Yeah.
But you know, New England's such a small boxing area and there's so much sparring around that at one point or another, you probably have sparred your opponent.
Yeah.
Not all the time. I mean, you know, but sometimes.
You've seen them or train with
Yeah,
them
of course. Yeah.
Okay. That it makes sense. I ask because it's just I feel like no matter what sport it is, there are so many parallels that are so similar of like how you look at things, but then there's things that are so different. You're like, oh wow, like I didn't even think of it like that, you know. And even for like this, so this event, is this the first year that you're a part of this event, or have you been a part?
No, this is the 3rd year in a row.
3rd year in a row. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I lied. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. What's the capacity there? What's the capacity at MGM? Do you know?
Oh, bro, I don't know.
It's probably decent size. I mean, it's got.
Yeah, I really genuinely don't know, when I feel stupid telling.
Yeah, it's a huge venue. I was getting at. It's definitely a big venue. Be a part of, like you said, it does have that vibe of being.
Dude, they have walkout songs, like big screen of them warming up in the locker room. It's just, I feel like I'm on a pay-per-view event. It actually is live streamed.
That's what's crazy, and you're a part of that. You're
I'm lucky. Yeah,
you're part of the fighting. I mean, that is real cool. What's the music that's bumping in your gym? Like, what type of music you playing in your gym, or is it just kind of everything?
It depends on who grabs the Spotify first.
Okay.
So, like my 2 cousins, who I love to death, if they grab it, usually you'll get like your Drake, your who else does he listen to? Big Bunny, Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, yep.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
But they got all that new stuff. You know what I mean? I feel old when I walk in. If I walk in and we have a guy here, John Sinelli. I walked in Saturday before our New England tournament. I walked in. He had on Dean Martin. I said, bro, nobody has Linguini in the background here. Like, what are we listening to Dean? Who are you gonna work out to? Me personally, when I was fighting, I liked Latin music because of the beat. It's always that fat boom, 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 you
Yeah.
know. But I like James Brown. I'm a big James Brown guy.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I
I
mean? You
wasn't
can work out
expecting
to
that.
James Brown, like, but I mix it. Like I can go like 90s hip hop,
Yeah. Okay.
you know, some Dre, some Biggie.
Yeah.
I can't do this new age stuff.
Yeah, 90s hip hop. I mean, that's like my soft spot. Like that's what I would be playing. And honestly, any Drake. Like I think Drake just has so many songs that you're just like, oh
But the
man.
problem is sometimes he goes into those love songs where I'm like, I'm
I
looking at
know. Then that's it.
Joey, cuz what are we doing here?
He spreads it. You're like, yeah, I get that. Well, that honestly, for us, like we just kind of created. We worked with the DJ in Boston who just made a killer like list for us. But we're looking to like get into high school, so maybe we'll throw it your way. You can hear our mix, but it's
Send
like
it.
every genre of music. Like
See, that's
it
me. That's
yeah,
my speed.
it's so good, and how he mixes and blends songs together is he's talented. So, but that's something I find so important. Like even on my Instagram, like I joke, but when someone messaged me being like, love the song choice, or oh, I love the music you put on here, like I get pumped. Like I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
show. Like I run the music on here. Like I am the
yeah.
head of music. Like,
It's my jam.
like that is a title I take extremely serious on this podcast. Head of music. So
So it's funny you
um
bringing up music, right? And I know I
yeah,
touched on him before, but my brother said, not to keep referring to him like he's the almighty, but he said, instead of pump up music, right?
yeah,
He said, you got to listen to music that calms you down
yeah,
because you get that adrenaline dump when
yeah,
you hear that music going down to the stage. You get that adrenaline dump. By the
yeah,
time you're ready to go time, your adrenaline's gone.
yeah.
Not gone, but depleted.
Right.
So if you notice, like Conor McGregor comes down to like Sinead O'Connor, and a lot of the Mexicans come down to that like Mexican music, like that
Yeah.
chill. The
That's
Mexicans
so
try to,
interesting. That's another like mindset like thing
yeah,
because I asked that question a lot to athletes on here and coaches. I'm like, what's a song that still gets you juiced up before a big game that you listen to? And that answer is never the same. Like it is, and that's why I love asking it because music is just for some
chill.
people, right? You listen to people come down the aisle, like, what are they listening to? But for them, it's like
Sure. Hey,
they're in a zone, they're getting amped, like
you
it's
want to hear a
crazy.
story about music?
Yeah.
You ready for this one, brother?
Yeah.
I'm going to make you cripple. We get a call to go down to the West Virginia to fight in the rough and rowdy, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I go, all right, here we go. We go down there. People have chainsaws, 3 teeth, hate the Northerners for the most part. You know what I mean? So we go down there. I looked at the kid. I go, all right. The guy comes over. All right, what music do you want to come down to? You know what he said? Now, give you the stage. We're in West Virginia fighting a guy from West Virginia
Yeah.
with 3 teeth. He looks at me and goes, Dancing Queen. I went, what did you just say to me? I said, what? I had two of my boys with me, right? They grabbed me and they go, cuz he can't be serious. I went, oh my God. If that gets him gassed, I mean, what am I going to say? No.
Yeah, you
He's the
can't
one
come
taking
down to us.
punches.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, just cover your heads in case we get stuff whipped at us.
Did
We're
you?
walking.
Did you?
No, I knew the crowd would offset the music
Yeah.
because of the crowd that it was.
Did he win? Did your fighter win?
No,
Oh, really?
dude, no,
I mean, what a
no.
power move that would have been if he won, though. Dancing Queen, like, and then knocks the
Yeah,
guy out.
I mean, it's funny. So, like, I see them behind the stage. Like, there's a kid there that was in the backseat, jacked, ripped up, right? We're in backstage. He's
Yeah.
legit crying, nervous as heck, right?
Yeah.
And I look at him, I go, bro, what's up? He goes, I didn't know why I signed up for this. And I looked at him, I go, well just throw punches. Like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say, bro?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I know him like that, right? Now I've seen, maybe last year I checked on it. I'm not going to say his name, but now he's like, "Ugh." I'm like, bro, I saw you crying in the locker room, dog.
Yeah.
Stop.
Come on now.
Come
Come on now.
on, man.
Yeah. Come on.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's all for show. So I get it.
Yeah.
Sells tickets.
Do you feel like, I mean, I guess how much of that is true? Like, I look at your guys' Instagram, and obviously you've grown so much. We've talked about it, But how much of it when does a fighter also have to balance becoming so marketable nowadays? Because I don't know the fight game really well, but what I'm seeing in MMA from just following it and watching as an average fan is just people take their shots on Twitter or take their shots on TV
Sure.
when they get a little bit of mic time to call somebody out or to say something about somebody or to be like, who's this guy that came on the mic and said this after this fight? They're like, are you seeing that is becoming so much more part of boxing as far as not only being able to prove it, but to be able to do this a little bit too?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the big look at I mean, obviously two of the best ever, Conor McGregor and Muhammad Ali.
Right.
I mean, just look at their marketability. I mean, you know what I mean? And then you look at even Floyd Mayweather, right?
Yeah.
Before he was Money Mayweather, he was Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
And when he fought Oscar De La Hoya, he said, I got to make myself the bad guy because Oscar De La Hoya was the golden boy. And when he started marketing himself as that bad boy, you know, F the world type stuff, that's when his name really started coming on people's lips.
Yeah.
You know, he was always a phenomenal fighter, but it didn't start really. I mean, obviously his fighting ability and his record helped. I 100%.
Yeah.
But he really didn't get on the map until he started chirping.
I
You
mean,
know,
and I think those two guys that you mentioned too, McGregor and Ali, they talked it, but then they did it. Like
right?
McGregor was like, "I'm gonna knock this guy on one round," and he came out and did it, and you just like, how do you
He
not
was
love this
big.
guy?
He's big in a manifestation too.
Yeah,
If you look at
yeah.
the locker room before he knocked out Jose Aldo, he did that exact move that he stepped back, almost similar to
Sugar Sean.
O'Malley.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same punch, that pull back, boom, and
yeah.
he just clipped them with it. Is that manifestation? I believe in that. I'm a big, big believer in that
Because
manifestation.
Aldo kind of caught him too, right? I mean, Aldo
Yeah,
kind of
but it was
caught
kind of
him.
like he was already on the way down when he caught him.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? It was kind of like it took the steam off them. You know?
yeah. But man, like McGregor just, I feel like during COVID, MMA was like the first thing to really come back. So it was like something that it was the only thing you had to look forward to.
Right.
Obviously, the
Sure.
storylines were great. Like they were back before any sport by a mile. Like, and they had some monster fights, but that's when I really started going back and watching like McGregor stuff. And I was just like, this guy is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But I
Monster.
see like how much money these guys are making. Like
I mean, not really the UFC guys though.
not them, but just like in general, like you're seeing it in college sports more now because of NIL deals. Like these guys are making a certain amount of money boxing, but I feel like they're making their money like representing a brand or being an
Sure.
ambassador for something. Like I just didn't know if you saw that as a manager, that I could see that being
I think
hard to
absolutely.
also
I think you got to
balance and
have that
focus on
ability to
fighting.
chirp. But if
Yeah.
my fighters can't chirp, you know, Daddy's doing it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I can chirp with the best of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think you do need that. I
Yeah.
mean, and not always. Sometimes, you know, a little bit. Sometimes, you know, people say less is more.
Right.
But I don't. You know, I don't really. In order to really, really put yourself out there, I personally believe you need to chirp. And
Yeah.
I know people don't like that and X, Y, and Z. If it doesn't make you a better fighter, obviously not. You
Yeah.
know, but it does make you more marketable. I
Yeah.
do believe that.
Yeah,
You know, there's
I love it. I love it.
like put it this way. You know, you ever heard of Joe Calzaghe?
No.
Okay, he beat Roy Jones. He's an undefeated fighter.
Okay.
Quiet as they come, beat Bernard Hopkins. Quiet as they come, doesn't say a word. But nobody knows him because he was a quiet guy, in my opinion. I mean, boxing fans know him, but I mean, you really don't. But you know who Butterbean I bet.
I mean, how would you categorize Anthony Joshua? Would you say he's in that category?
I personally
Yeah.
think he's soft.
Yeah, see, okay, I guess that's what
I
I'm
think
kind of getting at. Okay.
like that's me. I mean, I love Tyson Fury. Like, look at how he doesn't like the jackets he wears, his outfits.
He's so marketable. I mean, he's
Yeah,
so
man, like just
marketable.
pounding booze. Like, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think you need some sort of charisma.
Right.
If you can't something, You know, you can't be a quiet guy in this sport.
Well, that's why I look at Joshua. I mean, you look at Joshua, he's like he was chiseled with by a sculptor. His body's ridiculous. He's big. He looks the part. And then I've seen him fight, and then you see some of the fights he loses. You're just like,
soft as a grape.
this guy just like this guy. If he just had it, like he's the most marketable looking boxer there is, probably in boxing. But he's soft and like can't market that.
I see when this is me. I think when somebody looks that good,
Yeah,
they probably have a little help.
right, right.
I mean, that's my opinion.
Okay.
And sometimes a fighter in their head,
Yeah,
they know they have that extra help. So when you go against a guy, hypothetically, like Wilder, who's just a dog, or you go against a Tyson Fury, who just is a dog, you know, mindset wise, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. Like Anthony Joshua, he knows, in my opinion, that he needs that extra help in order to get to where he is. So that probably does a little bit of a mindset trick on him, in my opinion.
Well, let me ask you this: as a trainer, a manager, a boxer, when do you know? How quickly in a fight do you know that your boxer's in trouble? Like, what's the earliest indication typically that you just like?
Wow. So that's so crazy because we brought this up a couple times. I just spoke about the kid Rob the Bonus, right?
Yeah.
He fought a kid at the Golden Gloves, and I know my fighters. Like I know them. We get deep. We talk. We have very personal relationships. Within the first 10 seconds, he got clipped with a left hand. My assistant next to me was Larry. That was his name. I grabbed Larry's leg. I go, he's done. He goes, what? I go, he's done. Because I knew he never got hit like that before. And I knew it was going to do a thing to his mind.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next year, Rob again, I'm with Shayna, and he came out and I said, listen, I need you to fight this way. Because he's not used to fighting the way I asked him to fight. Yeah. I said, if you do this, we're going to win this effing tournament. Okay. Yeah. He comes out right away, extremely, boom, 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 does exactly what I asked. I looked at her. I go, he's got this in the game. It's done. He's winning this fight. She looked at me, huh? I go, just, he's winning. Yeah. And that's more of my connection with my fighters. Just because I know their mannerisms, I know how they think, I know what goes on. And I think that plays a huge aspect in this sport. Them having trust in me and me knowing their mannerisms and what makes them tick.
Yeah. I mean, it can be said of like, again, I know the football world, so I'll just throw the comparison out using the football world, but like sometimes putting a quarterback in way too early than they're ready to be put in, whether that's at the collegiate level or the professional level, or maybe even at the high school level that, you know, and it takes one game or one series or one play to rattle their confidence forever. And I'm sure for you mentioned with the fighter, like, right, getting hit hard, being like, and not being able to take that, like, that's a mentality thing of like, man, is this how people punch? Like, is this,
right.
You know, like that starts playing in your head a little bit, and maybe you're playing a little bit more defense as opposed to being on the attack. I don't know, but like, I'm sure that's just the stuff that goes through your head a little bit. So, yeah, I always find that aspect of things really interesting with just overall, like, kind of like what you think or what your reality is with those types of situations.
I think I just think it's the fighter itself.
Yeah.
Like my cousin won we trained him to win the heavyweight title at the Golden Gloves, New England heavyweight title, right?
Yeah.
Now a lot of people get anxiety. I myself have thrown up before every single one of my fights, and every single one of my fighters' fights.
Yeah.
I puke. It's almost a joke going on right now. We're like,
hey,
bro, you gotta puke.
That,
go. If you don't puke, we're not winning this thing.
Yeah.
So he's sleeping, fell asleep. He say he's fight 10. He fell asleep fight 7 in the locker room. I go over to him. I go, cuz, wake up. We're on in 3 fights. He went like this, legit. Huh? Dude, we're going to knock this kid out. Let me go back to sleep. So I know he ain't getting rattled no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen in sparring him take some rockets. Nothing. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I know his mannerisms, what's going to make him tick. And so when we're in the corner, I says to him, you're the last Oliver.
Yeah.
To, before Santino is going to get older and fighting this thing. Carry our name out. Let's go. And he sent it. He sent it.
Yeah, dude. It takes that.
He sent it.
Yeah. And that's great too, because I mean, that must be even a little bit harder for you. I mean, I know coaches do it, but for you, you have different fighters who fight differently, who you train differently, who you have to talk to differently.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I'm sure you generally talk to them the same, but like you have to approach people differently in different situations. So, like,
everybody's different. So
right. So,
here's the way I look at it, right?
yeah,
For anybody, male. So we have, I'll say 85% female competitors here, right?
yeah,
So anybody that wants to step into that ring, you know you're getting punched in the face.
yeah,
Male, female, 5-year-old, 60-year-old. You know you're getting. So you got to be a little off in the noggin in order to step in the ring right away.
right.
Right. So I take that right away. As soon as somebody says, I want to compete, I said, oh, something's going on in this person's head. Something's wrong. And
Yeah.
that's obviously including myself. I'm not all there upstairs. So, so some people like me getting in their face, F you, slapping them, let's go.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
some people you got to massage.
yeah,
And neither fighter is more talented or more skilled. It's just what makes them tick,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know. And I
it's
do.
so interesting because I'm sure that's not easy. Like you're saying that, but that's not easy to be able to balance all that because that's also a lot for you as a trainer, as a coach, just for people to understand. To you, it's probably nothing, but it's because you're good at it, right? But like that's a lot to be able to just change your mindset to be able to talk to this fighter differently than you would talk to this fighter, get him amped up versus like it's just different.
It does, but again, and that's kind of where I'm gonna double back on. Like, I have a phenomenal staff. Like my guy right now, Joey, my cousin. I
Yeah.
mean, he's just phenomenal at talking to people. Steven goes over to people. They have like a soothing way. More Steven than Joey. Joey's more like me.
Yeah,
But we all have different approaches. And if our approaches don't work, Katie will do it. If Katie's approach doesn't work, Irene's or and you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
there's everybody's a community in here. So the females can either talk to each other. I'll go over there, even like I'll have Katie because she has a very positive outlook on it. Everything's so happy. Like, no, dude,
yeah,
stop with that shit. Go.
yeah, yeah,
But it works. So
yeah,
like whatever works for that fighter, that's who I'll send over. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
I can be a little rough around the edges sometimes. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, great, you're doing that. I don't care. This is
yeah,
a fight. We ain't playing golf.
yeah,
We don't got time for this poor me stuff. We're about to fight.
yeah. And like I think about like it's so funny because the whole reason I started this podcast is just because the part of it is just it used to be such a just focus on coaches and now we do athletes, we cover teams, but and it's still the heart and soul of it is like focusing on coaching and just hearing how coaches adapt and how coaches are and how they educate themselves and how they learn and what they've learned from and their successes. Like so to hear you say all that stuff, it's funny because here I am thinking, wow, I haven't really covered boxing that much or know that much about it. But as you hear like the coaching and the thought process, the mentality, it's like, man, coaching really is parallel in so many ways in a lot of sports
It's
and just
tough,
how you
man.
approach. It's insane.
It can do a number on me sometimes. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I don't realize that I'm in Vietnam until I get in my car on my ride home and say, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't really even do anything physical today. I'm just exhausted. And then it goes in my head. I'll get 7 text messages from the fighters. How did I look today? What do you think I need to work on today? And every single one of them, because it is an individual sport for the most part, they all do really need my attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have valid reasons to be texting me. It's not like a team sport where you can blame it on the goalie if the defense is bad and say that, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Is that you only got you. That's why they call that place the chamber of truth. You cannot hide who you are in there.
Yeah.
So they do depend on me. And they do all deserve my attention, because they're getting in there.
They're getting at it. Yeah. And that must be hard to do too, because if you do have a lot of boxers, I mean, it's hard to give everybody that. I think you're just watching Creed and like him being like, yeah, like, man, the trainer being like, yeah, I'll give you some time when I can come over here and there, at the very beginning. And I'm like, I wonder if that happens a lot, that,
It, you
like,
know, I think what separates us from a lot, I can't speak for all,
yeah, yeah,
but if you don't have the potential if you don't have skill or potential, you ain't getting time.
yeah, yeah.
You're not getting
And
the time.
rightfully so. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, any
Absolutely.
job, like, right, like if someone's just yeah, you can't sometimes you can't waste your time when you're
Absolutely.
trying to build something bigger for yourself. Like I
One
get it.
million percent. I just
Yeah.
don't have that in me. Like
Yeah.
if I see somebody in here really breaking their ass and they don't have as much skill, that person still deserves, in my opinion, I could be wrong,
Yeah.
just as much of attention because forget boxing, right? When they go home at night, if they feel better about themselves,
Yeah.
that's what I care about more than creating the next world champion. I genuinely mean that. I genuinely mean that on my soul.
Yeah.
If I can make somebody feel better and become more confident in life, I'd take that over a world champ 10 out of 10 times a week.
But I think that's also why you have success on both ends. Like you can be successful saying that because you genuinely mean that and you do that versus having that mentality or is that a part of your thought process to then be able on the other end to be able to train someone to get them to that elite level to fight for a championship and knowing what it takes, whether you were there personally yourself or the team that you put together to get them there. Like that is why you're able to kind of be on that other end of it because you totally respect the person who walks in that could surprise everybody, that we judge a book by its cover and holy smokes, this person packs a punch or comes in and does decent damage or has a great spar against somebody you wouldn't expect. And it's like, okay, like, like
Yeah,
all because I gave this person a little bit of their time or my time, like that's says a lot about you as a person, I think. So
I appreciate that, bud.
yeah,
I appreciate
yeah,
it because I really, not to sound corny or get all corny on you,
yeah,
but if you really break it down, boxing is very symbolic to life. It really is. I mean, like we all have something going on, right? We do, and we're all in some sort of fight, you know. And this is just symbolic that, like, once you get in that ring, I mean, I know we all have family. I understand, but you really, at the end, you got to deal with your problems head on by yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm just gonna face it and see what the cards hold.
yeah. I
You
love it.
know, I mean,
And I
that's
think
my
that's
take on it.
important. And that's why you're successful, though. I mean, let's be real. That type of mentality is what makes it. If you separate people that are successful, maybe that aren't as successful, that mentality's it. Like that's the difference. Like people say things and they, oh, I do this and I do that, but when you say it versus you doing it, like the people that do are gonna do no matter what. And those little things that they do, those small things that they do that nobody else will do, those add up to the big things. And like that's where you get your successes. So I love it. But we've been on here for a bit. I want to plug the other event that we are going to be a part of, which I believe is
Let's
Sunday,
go.
November 5th at Big Night Live. We're honored,
Oof.
man. I want to say to our audience, I mean, Danny is literally one of the nicest human beings in the world. We don't know each other personally well. Like I said, we've had our connections of who we know and where we live, and even having one of his fighters on. But was just very open to being like, yes, I have you ringside. You can come in the locker room, all access, whatever you guys want, and like buying into what we are and what we do, and having that confidence and being like, yeah, sure. And then even has a billboard for the event and through our is helping us out with our logo and for what we're doing for this event is just such a nice human being. So when I'm hearing him say all this stuff, I'm just like, yeah, like people don't even know what I'm about to say about this dude next because like you literally are planning a humongous event at an awesome venue and you've been nothing but kind and nice to us as far as being a part of it. So yeah, I'll give you the floor for that, but thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're it's the punch for Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Did I say that with a real bad Boston accent?
I
I
mean,
felt
I
like I
think I
said that
think
with
we
a.
just do. Like even when we try
I,
not to, I think we do it more,
I said it and I said, "Ooh, that sounded bad." The punch for Parkinson's. Is that better?
I
But
love the first way about it, truthfully, but that's
all
all
right, we'll go back. We'll go back. Hold on, let me plug back in. But yeah, the punch for Parkinson's, November 5th, Big Night Live. Um, the actual event is phenomenal. It's Ryan Roach is holding it. Great guy.
yeah.
We text all day. Helps me out so much. Helps USA Boxing. Helps all of the people with Parkinson's disease. What he does is he gives all the money back that he makes, and he puts it into people that have Parkinson's disease. He pays for their training.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good
great
deal.
guy.
Real good
Great
dude.
guy. Yeah. We have about 12 fighters going in it.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know he's run this event before.
he
I
has.
feel like he raffled off like an escalator or something like that too.
Dude,
Like
he
obviously,
raffles off everything. He's just, he's a good person, got good personality, so he can rap. So
yeah,
the minute he meets somebody, right away they want to help him. He's one of those type of guys you just want to help.
yeah. I see him at the Chini's bacala. I'm gonna butcher this, but it's like bacala. It's some event that
Bacala, probably. Yeah.
yeah, Joe throws it, and I always
Yeah.
see Ryan, and he always goes out of his way and says hello, like a super, super nice guy. So
Yeah, a very personable guy.
yeah,
Um, Nice guy. Really, really, really does try to help the community, those with Parkinson's disease.
yeah,
Like I said, all the money that he gets from the event. Like we train a couple people with Parkinson's disease here,
yeah,
and he pays for their training with that money that he makes from the organization.
yeah,
So it's an awesome event. Like we fought it last year. It was phenomenal. It
yeah,
was like legit, again, phenomenal. Like I
yeah.
felt like I was again in like the Bellagio just watching a fight. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I
Overwhelmed.
mean that venue is pretty cool anyway. So I can imagine that in the work that he does. Obviously, I'm sure, like you said, it looks amazing. But we're excited. I mean, for us, we're starting to get all the camera stuff for like our high school coverage, and we're just like, man, there is just so much we can do with this stuff. And so we just purchased another thing that like follows people that move, and like so I'm starting to really get into like this
Kind of like
pod
my
tech
iPad.
camera. I mean,
Like
listen,
my
I
iPad.
might have to talk to you about this after. This is unbelievable. But yeah, we purchased something that's like you put it on your lens, and because we catch such good clips sometimes, but then we miss like a small clip of it because you're trying to catch it while they're moving. In certain sports, it's like it happens so fast that sometimes you just
Yeah.
move the camera and you might go too fast by it for a second before you slow it down, or sometimes you go too slow and you kind of miss it. So it's like this is a like a motion thing that like helps you out. So I'm hoping by November 5th we will be high
Come
tech. We're
on,
hoping
bro.
to get
Have that
another
thing on
camera for
blast. Let's
them too.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We do a lot. I mean, we do a lot of cool stuff with like the hookups to your phones for like microphones and talk. I mean, the sound that those things pick up are like
Really?
crazy
You
fun.
want me
Yeah.
to get mic'd up for you? I'll get mic'd up for you so you can really hear me curse.
We could definitely. I bet you. Oh my god, I'd love to mic you up. Oh, we'd get
I
such
don't know, bro.
incredible
That would
content.
have to be a Rogan podcast, not here.
That would be, yeah, we would call it like Beyond Censored or something like that, or like Beyond After Dark, and we only put it on our like story at like midnight.
100%.
No, but but in all seriousness too, yeah, like I am genuinely interested in seeing you coach. Like I love to come down to your spot sometime, and let's plug your spot for a second. We talked about it, but where's it located? Tell everybody here, where are you at? Where's your spot? Tell everybody about it.
I'm in Middleton, Mass, right on 114. And I know coming from Medford, people are like, huh? What? So what I'm gonna say is we're near Richardson's ice cream.
I was just gonna say mini golfing and batting cages. Come on.
Yeah, we're right up the street. So like,
Yeah.
what's funny when I first came here, right?
Yeah.
In my head, I thought it was just gonna be like, a little workout facility because in my head, and I was obviously completely wrong. I was like, how many fighters are really gonna come out of Middleton? You know what I mean? This area, it's not really a rough and tumble neighborhood. It's, they're a little upscale over here.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
I was gonna say you got some like farmer boys coming in here. I'm sure that
I
just
was wrong.
insane.
Yeah, they tip cows for workouts out there.
Yeah.
They tip cows. But no, we have some, and again, the females that come in here, I think females actually work out harder than males, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, from my experience.
I mean, it's so funny you say that because I say this like all the time in coaching. When I've coached, I think I coached 2 years total of girl sports versus like 15 years of boy sports. And when people ask me, I say girls listen a lot more than boys do.
100%. Like, I don't even think, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you have your outlier, but for the
Yeah.
most part, I think females, in my opinion, no disrespect, guys. I
Yeah.
think they work harder. I think they're more disciplined,
Yeah.
and I think they listen better. I really truly believe that.
Yeah. And even like my fifth grade class last year, I had 20 kids, and I think I had 13 girls and 7 boys. And it was like, like everyone's like, oh, you got a lot of girls. I'm like, oh, I take like 20 girls. Like they listen. They don't, you don't have to tell them to be quiet more than like once. Like you ask them to do something, they're great. They always want to help you clean up your desk or clean out. You're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like, oh, they're just so much easier
They
sometimes to just like teach and everything. So
I
yeah.
didn't say easier. I said discipline. I didn't say easier. I didn't
I'm
say.
referring just to the coaching and teaching aspect of it.
All right.
Yes, I'll leave
Okay.
it at
Okay.
that. That is true too, what you just said, by the way. But we'll get back to it. But so obviously, yeah. So you're, I mean, you're a spot, like I said, on Instagram. So and I'll kind of we'll end it more on this type of conversation. But obviously, I'm so interested. So this is me as a fan asking a little bit. We alluded to your social media kind of like popping and really growing.
Yeah.
For you, how much of a just for people out there, because I talk about this for programs all the time, how much of it is like a tool and a weapon do you really use your social media for as far as your business goes and growing at?
90%.
Yeah.
Like when I first started, I'll say this. When I first started, I'll say 90%. I think it's just the way of the world nowadays, social media. I mean, there's not even a maybe, it's a fact.
Yeah.
But I think now we're more 50-50. I mean, as far as business, I think because we have so much talent in this gym and people do feed into their like a real family environment here, I think that word spreads quick. And
Yeah.
then I think because of the level of talent that we have trained, I think people are like, wow, I want to go there. And it kind of feeds into the whole system. And then you can promote those people on the Instagram. So it's kind of like a two-headed sword. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Double-sided sword.
Yeah, and so for me, like that's like it's because I look at yours and I see that, like I see like the reels or the seriousness of like the boxing aspect of it, and then the joking around and laughing on the story, or like
A lot of
the
ball breaking going
little
on in this
things.
gym.
Yeah, and I think that that's like what's so important that social media does allow you to show off that you wouldn't get from other places. Like there's some coaches that we've had on and they've been very successful without social media. So I'm not saying that is whatever, but
Right.
I think as far as nowadays with
Or
sports,
business,
numbers
though.
are dwindling. Like kids go to private schools, they go to prep schools, they leave you. If you're not showing off what your program looks like at the high school level in some aspect, then you're giving no one an opportunity to see any of your players, see anything about you, see
Right.
weight room, what you do at practice, what your record is, player of the week. Like you're not allowing anyone to see that stuff. So I asked you that because I was like, this guy, he has to be like all in on social media just because of his growth and just because of what I've seen.
I think it, like what you were just
Yeah.
saying, they offset each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then every post or reel I'll make, I'll usually throw some sort of money to promote it, to spread it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like some sort of promotion. Like it depends on the post and the reel. Like say if we have a like Rob just won the big title, right? Or a punch for Parkinson's disease, the event, or the Haymakers event. I'll throw 500 on a promotion on that one post. Just to rocket it out there.
Yeah. It's
You know what I
smart. I
mean?
mean, we were doing that. We dabbled in that with some of our posts, because we felt like we post so much that at times we were just like, all right, let's something that's like really good that we know is a message that we can get out there. Because sometimes trailers, it's hard because like I pick certain trailers because I'm just like, I love this part of the conversation, but that's not what an audience might look at and think is great. But I know, like, man, so sometimes I have to get better, and I've learned for myself, like, you got to pick a clip that's going to catch and people are either going to laugh at or be genuinely interested quick, not something that you personally. I mean, it's great, but it's not like what is
But
going
that's like
to.
saying you don't have taste.
Right. I mean, that's
No, no, no.
tough,
You got
right?
good taste, bro.
Like,
Look at you have me on your show. You obviously have great
I
taste.
mean, the way you dress alone. I mean, any clip I put on there. I mean, I'm gonna tag Gucci in it.
I'm gonna get so much crap for that, right?
No, man. I mean, I think you should show it off. Like I say that to people all the time. Like anytime someone tells me something about themselves or what they're doing, whatever, I'm always like, yeah, man, do your thing. Like, who cares? Like, do your thing. Like, I say that like I've thought about putting that saying on the back of a Beyond t-shirt because I feel like I say that so much to people. Like, yeah, just do your thing. Who cares? Like, do your thing, dude. Who cares? You're obviously winning fights. Your gym is successful. You're growing. You're partnering up with the right people, becoming a part of huge events. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, wear Gucci every day if you want to show it off. Who cares? Like, people will know who you are that much more. The marketability aspect of who you are. Like,
And then I'll
you're the
start
trainer that
chirping
wears
everybody, right?
Gucci and has champions. Like, you
he's
know.
a he's a real interesting character.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, and we're honored. Like, I really appreciate you, like, wanting us to be a part of this event, like opening the door for us to be a part of this event. Like, this is something for us that, like, we work with the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation for kids with
Oh wow.
autism, so we understand like having a cause, and I see what what Ryan does on his Instagram with how he trains people with Parkinson's, and I watch those
Yeah.
videos, and sometimes repeatedly, even shorter ones, like I catch myself watching it like 2 or 3 times because I pay attention to different aspects of it every time. To be like, wow, this guy, like,
Yeah,
man.
he really cares.
So to be a part of that, and obviously getting to know you and seeing what you're doing, like, yeah, for us, this is just like another way we can help promote you guys and what you do and the work that you put into your trade and what you love. And yeah, we can just get to be there. It's cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's gonna be a real sick event. It always is.
yeah.
It always is. They do a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and
They do.
I'll be dressed up nice. I mean, beyond, I mean, I might have to get
Gucci.
some Beyond suit. I mean, listen, if you're sponsored, you
I'll
might
let
be
you borrow the
sponsored by
jacket for
Gucci
the
by
night, though.
then.
I'll let you borrow the jacket.
I will listen, I will look and get some Gucci. I mean, I might have to get some at a flea market that says like Moochie or something like that. But like but
The
I'll get
upside down
something.
G's, the G's going all the different ways.
um but I want to thank you for coming on here today. I think obviously we could, I mean, and we talked about this off here just so everybody knows here, this guy is a phenomenal fighter himself, was a phenomenal fighter. We could have a whole podcast on him alone. But he really wanted to focus on his fighters and his events, and so it just shows you that much more of who he is as a person. But let me tell you, we just talked to one hell of a boxer today and we didn't talk one thing about it. So I will say this, that at some point I would, in all seriousness, love to have you come back on and definitely talk about. I mean, I think a lot of people could learn from you what you've put in. Then obviously now on the other side of it and seeing things differently that you maybe didn't see as a fighter before. I
Yeah,
think that would be a very
absolutely.
cool podcast, man. So we'll definitely set that
What are
up.
you doing tonight? What are you doing? What do you got going on? What are you gonna do after we hang up?
Work right on this episode, truthfully.
My brother, I'm going home, gonna listen to some Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol and pass out.
No, man, I get right to work on this. You guys get your event Thursday, so I want to get this out there before then, cut up some fun clips, and yeah. So I'm right to work, man. I love this stuff. So
Much
but
love, brother.
we appreciate it. We appreciate you giving us the time, and we really look forward to, I mean, the billboard, I'm looking forward to that. Oh my god.
Gonna be right above
uh
Red's Tavern.
where is it?
Right above Red's Tavern on Route 1, right Santopios, right after Santopios on Route 1.
Cool. Okay. I'm gonna park myself out there, and I'm not even kidding. And I'm
Yeah,
literally gonna
get a picture just like that, homie.
I'm gonna be like, you ever watch Entourage?
Absolutely.
You know, Johnny Drama's like below his 5 town sign. Like, that's gonna be me. Like,
and I'll be like Turtle right next to you. I'll look like Turtle.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, this was a blast, man. I really appreciate it. Anything you need from us, like even going down the like further, like fighters, like big fights. If you guys are posting things on your story, like Instagram, tag us in it. Like, we will throw whatever you
No
want
doubt.
out there. Just tell us and we'll do it. Just, it's never a bother. So just send it to me, and I know to send it and put it right on our story. So
all right, my brother.
All right.
Much love.
All right, guys. So from Beyond Podcast, I'm your host, Anthony Petrellis. We got a big football week coming up. We're at Malden High School this week. Next week, we got a doubleheader. We're at Arlington. We're at Kip Academy. So football coverage in October for us is about to pick up, and playoff season's right around the corner. And we got some teams already reaching out for some possible home playoff games. So we're really excited to be a part of the MIAA, which seems going to be a fun tournament this year with some real good balance across the board. So excited for that. We got a lot coming out. Pay attention to our social media. Danny's episode will be out very soon. All right, guys, till next time.